fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Yeah, so we're using the VRS Direct Force Pro this year. We have a wheel adapter right here, so I'm using the rim I used last year. But the motor right here produces a lot of power, a lot of precision, and it helps me, just feel the car more, feel the car a lot quicker. Especially, this week we're at Sonoma. I can feel it, when it hits the curbs. Any little change in the car, the wheel reacts a lot quicker than your typical gear-driven or belt-driven wheel. For example, if you're on oval and the rear tires break loose, force feedback on it corrects a lot quicker than your typical wheels. There's no resistance pretty much as far as being able to make quick corrections on the wheel. So all that, paired with how precise the wheel itself is, it makes it to where it helps you as a driver, to find that extra hundredth or thousandths of a second. So when you're getting a direct drive wheel, especially the VRS wheel, it's heavy duty. It's got good weight to it, it's not a plastic toy. It feels like you can really beat up on it. A lot of people have issues with their plastic gear-driven wheels just kind of breaking after a couple years. This thing just feels like it can go forever. The forces are really strong where if you might have to let go of the wheel if you get into the wall. You can adjust all that with the settings on it and stuff, but the wheel itself doesn't play around. It's got way more strength than you could ever need, and that's what makes it good, that you can adjust that down to whatever the car needs. So initially you'll be able to get the controller box and the motor together, and eventually you will be able to add a rim onto that option. They'll also be including a button plate on it to put on the rim to have all sorts of different buttons and functionality. Also, pedals are coming, so that's a pretty big deal as well. Hasn't been covered too much, but the goal is to also have pedals to go along with the Direct Force Pro. So that's pretty exciting. The wheel feels good. It feels very much like a real world steering wheel. You just kind of feel like what you would imagine the car to feel like. A real steering wheel in a car is very smooth, it's very direct, very quick, and that's what this wheel feels like.
If you ever asked to put into matrimony factors of a race circuit which would make everything perfectly amazing and thrilling to watch and thrilling to race on, this is the place. Elevation change, fast flowing opening sectors, a high speed run to a very sharp braking zone to end the lap, and then on top of that, a very fiddly and technical middle sector which makes all of the difference in the long run. This is the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. This is Interlagos. This is what Grand Prix racing is all about. It's the Dallara Formula IR series here, and we are live with you along with SimSpeed TV for the ride here for the 7th round of the championship. The focus here in Brazil will be to put some good times down on the board and to put themselves in the best possible position here on the rundown to the end of the racing. My name's Jake Sperry, joined alongside by Jay Kennedy here making things happen. And well, Jay, the big focus is going to be how do you make something like this a true reality?
Yeah, hello everyone. Looking forward to seeing how this race plays out, and it's going to be interesting at the front. We've seen Tema Simon and Marco Sanfilippo dominate this series. Will we see one of them at the front once again, or will we see a new competitor, a new contender at the front? Looking forward to seeing how qualifying plays out, because it's going to be very tight at the front, I feel. One split of 26 means that we're going to have a very close race.
We certainly are, and this is going to be something very much worth keeping in mind. The longer that these sorts of events go on, we are in the midst of qualifying at this moment in time, so we just got to keep that in mind the longer that this goes on, and I'm sure everybody is going to be very alert to the way that the battling has been so far. So it looks like Danilo Sanfilippo currently the quickest, 1:11.8. And of course, that one split is going to be a big thorn in the sides of those who want to gain points today, and big points, because it means that they're not going to be getting as much as maybe if a couple more drivers turned up.
Exactly right. Does mean that the gaps between first and second, though, will be smaller. So a poorer result will result in not quite as bad a result. So Danilo Sanfilippo finished his run, and he is in P2. Marco Sanfilippo about to come and complete his first flying lap.
Yeah, and it's that first flying lap that we're seeing here. Marco Sanfilippo has been absolutely flying in the championship so far, has known what he's been capable of doing from time after time after time, and is looking for every single chance to make up some ground and to build a lead over Tamas Simon, who's 1:10.687 at the moment, is 1.1 seconds quicker than anybody else. There's the charge to the line. That is only an 11.4 by Marco Sanfilippo, good enough for second position, 0.7 of a second down in terms of time. Tamas Simon does slightly improve further to a 10.620 or a 6.21 as it's seen right now by laps, and that is absolutely incredible. He's found another 600th over the terms of time, but there are still drivers out there who are searching for times. One of them is Rashad Craig in the 11, making a run to the line. A 1:12 flat from him is good enough for 8th place, just edged out there by Tomasz Kozron.
Massa about to come across the line and complete his flying run. And we'll stop the clock at a 15.9, so a fair bit off the pace. We're going to see a fairly big split in regards to pace of drivers tonight, with it being only one split. So fastest down to the slowest. So Marco Sanfilippo had a big moment there, only just able to get the power down. And I don't think this is going to be an improvement for him. He's going to use this as a pit entry practice. Means Tamas Simon is going to get pole by a huge margin.
Absolutely. You could see there the very, very trademark in these Dallara Formula IR oscillating motions that you see when you try and put the power down or get a little bit sideways. If you can gather it up, there is a tendency for you to effectively have a wobble left and right. Here is Andreas Henkel now trying to make progress towards the line. 1:12.1 his best, and as he pushes for the stripe, he does ever so slightly improve that 1:12.1, but it does look like that 1:12.1, it was the only lap time he could put in on the board. P12, at least for the moment. Now, Eugenio Massa here, the Italian, will be looking to make some progress. We'll be hoping for about as good as a run here today, here, Jay, like a certain other named Massa who did very well here, 2008.
He'll be hoping to get himself a bit closer to the front in this qualifying session. Does improve on that lap time, which is always a good sign. So,
there's an off track somewhere, though.
Oh, no.
So that one will not be eligible and will not count. James Chesters, though, has the ability to put 2 laps on the board. It's a hard cut of 8 minutes here in the Dallara Formula IR series. As is with every iRacing official event, you are effectively out there on your own with a hot lap. You get no draft to help, and across the line, that's an 11.9 by Chesters. That's a great time there to jump up to 6th place, but he would want maybe just a little bit more here, Jay, because he's 0.004 of a second back off of Anthony Cat.
Yeah, not much of a gap there at all, is there? And even up to Sanfilippo, that being Danilo, he's not that far off, only just over 1/10 of a second. So saying that 5th, 6th, 7th, even back to 10th and 11th, very, very tight. 9th and 10th tied on times at the moment.
They certainly are. This is Eugenio Massa. He is out of laps at this point, so just getting practice in at this moment in time. Chester still has that second lap to go, though. Going through the Bico de Pato. Small lockup there on the inside. Missed the apex slightly, and now all of a sudden down through Mahulo and over towards that next left-hand bend here. Junsao, the junction corner. How good's your Portuguese around this circuit? That's going to be the real question. As now up through the hills, this left of Arquibancadas, and then Desquidados box says here. This small kink left. Of course, pit lane in real life has been modified and changed a little bit, but over the line, it's an 11.993. So that little lockup the Bico de Pato probably changed everything. Everybody done, though, when it comes to qualifying. The grid is going to set itself up on screen in the next couple of moments, and it's going to be very much a case of one person above and beyond everybody else in qualifying right now, and it is Tamas Simon with the number 1 on his vehicle, 110.620 on the grid. Brilliant work from him with Marco Sanfilippo alongside. Good qualifying there from Omar Bahar. Didn't say much about him, but third place for him is a big bonus with Danilo Sanfilippo in 4th position. Anthony Katz starts from P5. James Chester's there, the Frenchman, in 6th position overall. Cal Young starts from 7th with Brandon Powell in 8th, and then it is Michael Farbach and Tomasz Kozdron then making up 9th and 10th position. The first time we've seen Kozdron this season. Rashad Craig goes from 11th position, which is ironically his number, with 12th also his number, Jacob Oberslack. So the 2 Americans, 11th and 12th, with Andreas Henkel there in 13th, Philip Schiff in 14th, and then you've got the Dutchman Robert Jan de Jong there in what is 15th place alongside Gary Larson. Remy Garcia and Eric Jajok make up 17th and 18th positions on the grid. Luke Albins then goes from 19th alongside Matthew Johns with Fabian Valle, and then Chris Cheese Brown going from 22nd. Senan Bird is 23rd with the last time available 118.405, meaning the 3 that didn't set times were Radek Sikora, the Czech driver, and then down the page a little bit further here to Germano Savini and Eugenio Massa. The 2 Italians do not have themselves anything to work on except their iRating to work up the gridding process. Well, we have ourselves then everyone looking to line up. They have 2 minutes to do so. Uphill start for those who are on the front, downhill start for those who are on the back. It's a very unique grid in the fact that it rises and falls on the front stretch, and it naturally flows through this bowl-like circuit here around this place. It's 38 laps worth of action. They will have to take a pit stop at some point during this race, and everyone is going to have to be really alert to where they need to be. Just one driver we are waiting for. That is Germano Savini there over at the back, 25th on the grid, and 2 minutes expires, so he will start this one from pit lane. Simon on the front, Marco Sanfilippo's main rival alongside. Watch out for that run into turn 1 as the green flag gets itself underway. Simon has a shocker once again as they all try to funnel on through towards turn number 1. Drivers looking to all make it happen, but already down to 3rd is Tamas Simon as they all try and funnel their way through. Everybody nice and clean for the moment as they all try and work a way through down the hill for the very first time. But immediately, here comes Tamas Simon straight back. He wants back at Omar Bahar, and Bahar's going to have absolutely none of it.
Great job from Bahar to hold on for just that little bit, but Marco Sanfilippo, he'll be absolutely loving the fact that there was that error from Tamas Simon and Danilo Sanfilippo in this front 4 battle. They've already broken a huge margin back to Chester's big lockup. James Chester's, he was able to get ahead of a couple in that start as well. So Chester's with a great launch, Sanfilippo with a great launch. The rest probably not as great as they would have liked.
Oh, absolutely. And this is a tough circuit to get things right once things gone wrong. You can make passes here, though. So this is going to be a very, very good track if you can get it back. And this is also a set-up nightmare circuit also. So you might see a few drivers who have got a really nice quali set in the bank, but a race set, maybe not so much. They take the rise for the first time. James Chesters has managed to get ahead of Anthony Katz on the opening lap, mainly due to the fact that he went wide, but it's on for 3rd place right now. Omar Bahar staring down daggers. Behind him, though, is Danilo Sanfilippo, who will be desperately trying now to put himself in the best possible position. One driver immediately diving into the pits then. That'll be Eric Jajok, probably for a jump start.
Yep. Very, very easy to do in these things as well, is jump the start, because so much power and just jump so easily. If a slight movement of the clutch while you're waiting on the line will jump these cars. So be a bit disappointed with that, but long race, there's still plenty of time to gain positions. This battle for 3rd and 4th, very, very tight. And then that pack behind 5th, 6th and 7th, of being Chester, Cat and Powell. These 3 are going at it. The rest of the field is spread out as well. But everyone has made it through the first lap, which I think is the first for this season.
I think it absolutely is. We've struggled to see drivers all make it through. It's amazing how you put 26 drivers in one split and suddenly they all make it, but they don't when there's 13 and there's 2 splits. But at least at the moment, it's going to be a case of 8th on back and the rest is the big battle out there. Some side-by-side, though. Cat and Chester's defending it on the inside line, but nothing you can do there if you're Anthony Cat. Just didn't have enough to pull up alongside through a very, very difficult section. But the good news about Interlagos, got another chance. The Reto Aposta becomes a secondary place to attack. Cat to the outside, an open wheel specialist as he tries to get things sorted, but he's trying to draw Jack up and under, and again, he's not quite able to. Chester's so planted with that Dallara iR-01, trying again to the outside is Cat, and there's no dice around the outside of Ferradura.
No, and he's now stuck in behind, so not able to get a move done. We've got our first incident though, Sperry. It's taken a little bit, but we've got a couple of drivers that have run off the circuit. Robert Janjok.
Well, this is... Yep, so this is a little bit of the issue here. The blue flag machine there just behind in trouble. Ooh. And there's, it was just behind Henkel. Bang! Just under braking, gets tagged from behind, and there's nothing to do to save the snap there. So that is the hit. It's on for the lead, though, at the same time, though. So if we can go back to live, Tamas Simon, there was the second hit. Straight on you go, and out with damage to the front. Tamas Simon has just taken the race lead away from Marco Sanfilippo. Easy as you like into turn number 1. We catch this, I believe, on the replay here. You can see nothing you can do. Round the outside from Tamas Simon. He just had too much overspeed.
Yeah, good move in the end. As you said, it's just pure overspeed. What it means, though, this championship fight, not over. So we thought that Marco Sanfilippo, once he took the lead in the championship, he might be able to run away with it. Tamas Simon definitely proving that he's still got something to fight with in this championship. Means that we're going to come right down to the last round, which makes it even more exciting. I think this pass is really showing that Tamas Simon wants his championship just as much as Marco Sanfilippo.
I tell you what, you need to go back and look at Anthony Cat versus James Chesters, because Cat had to work so hard for that place against him out there on track. He was side by side over at the Skid of the Lago, had to fight all the way to Ferradura as well. There you can see moves to the outside as Chester's having to try and defend. The move was already done into turn 1. Anthony Cat there, the Welsh flag there on the bottom from Club UK and Ireland, as he got the move effectively done at that point, but it was a case of it was still having to be fought for. There's the Lewis Hamilton helmet at this point in time. They're actually still fighting now because Brandon Powell's now got a chance, but here's how you work out the move into turn number 1. It was defended hard to the pit wall, but when you've got overspeed around this circuit, you've got a chance, but that is a case of you outbroke yourself into 1 and sweep yourself around the outside like your name's Max Verstappen, turn 2.
Great little move there. Oh, Bahar. Omar Bahar's off the circuit.
It's a spin, and I think it's contact. It absolutely is contact, and Neo Sanfilippo tags him in the rear. It's almost a carbon copy of what we saw lap 2.
Wow. And 2 experienced drivers in these cars, so a surprising mistake. Surprising contact with these guys. On board here with Neo Sanfilippo, and yeah, just... probably didn't really need to get that close at this point of the race, did he? He wasn't close enough to make a move.
I mean, it's more of the case that he was maybe braking at the same point there, Jay, and just didn't account for the fact that, you know, Omar Bahar is going to brake slightly earlier because he's got less braking distance. So he's in a world of trouble right now. Same could be said for Chesters. Look at Brandon Powell. He's been there 2 laps trying to figure this one out. He goes hard to the outside. He needs Anthony Cat for support as drag as you go through. There's no DRS in these machines, trying to get it done around the outside. No dice in the pits and out. Omar Bahar is one of them. Robert Yandeyong, Gary Larson in the pits and out. Radek Sikora also out at this moment in time. So a few retirements then from this race in the early goings. Your race leader is Tamas Simon, ahead of Marco Sanfilippo in second, but really right now it's 4th on back where it's all going on right now. You got Cal Young and this wonderful train here that is stretching on back at this stage. Michael Farback, Rashad Craig, Andreas Henkel, Jacob Oberslack, Tomasz Kozdron, and then Remy Garcia as well on the back. So all the way to 14th is the battle behind Anthony Cat for 4th place.
Yeah, and then just behind those guys, these 2 are fighting as well, that being Luke Albans and Fabien Valet. They're going at it too. They were a little bit closer just as I flicked through them, but they've spread out a tiny little bit. But this is pretty spicy here, isn't it? Between Chesters and Powell, this is where you feel like something's about to happen. Something is about to explode in this little pack.
Oh, it definitely looks like it. Rashad Craig as well in the background. You can see he's making it side by side as they go through. Powell, no dice, into turn number 1 as he tries to open it up. But Rashad Craig also lifted out of his battle as well. So couldn't get it done on Michael Farback. The position stay as is for the moment. Go back forward. Watch that group in front because, again, Powell's got a really good run here. Try and get it done, but again, no confidence under braking to try and challenge it too wide. And of course you'd have zero confidence in these sorts of vehicles to go too wide because, one, they're probably the most fragile vehicles out there on the circuit. You brush your wheels together, that's it. The suspension's coming off due to the high nature of this track.
Yeah, exactly right. And because it's so high speed, this circuit as well, it amplifies any little bit of contact or anything like that. So they'll be making sure that they are giving each other a little bit more space than they normally would, just in case. And what that means is it makes it a little bit more difficult to get these overtakes done, especially now that the tyres are getting up to temperature. The drivers are feeling a little bit more comfortable in the cars now as well, that they're a few laps in.
Yeah, it's that comfortability that's going to be key. Another little chance for James Chesters to defend here. Powell goes to the outside once more. It's the same old story right now. You can keep looking and looking and looking. It's not going to be there right now, but again, you'll have to work it out into turn number 4 at this stage. Great run by Powell once more in the number 14. Philip Schiff is there just behind. Side by side they go into the next left, and again, there's nothing there. Schiff is deep in on the brakes, trying to get close, but he's not going to get there at all. There has been a couple changes for the position. For example, Tomasz Kozron has actually fallen behind Oberslack and Remy Garcia a lap and a half ago. He just outbroke himself into turn 1. That's why those 2 places are gone. But this is the issue with pack mentality driving. It's going to be very, very tough to work your way through the pack when there are drivers making mistakes, and minor mistakes out there at the moment as they try and find those little bits. That's Cal Young in the race spot car who's under pressure right now. Michael Farback has suddenly gone from defense to offense.
Yeah, Farback trying to work out where he can get the move done. He's just made a minor mistake though, and that could hurt him here with this run. With such a huge open throttle section, I think we're going to see 3 wide. This is going to get messy.
Andreas Henkel went for it, had to lift. Rashad Craig's got his move done, but look at this. Oh, he's going to come straight back. Oh, no. Craig's gone with Farback. Both of them go out. It was never on 3 wide to try and attack back through. That was optimistic at best and quite foolish at secondary.
100%. That's disastrous for those guys. And we will pick that up on the replay. See if we can pick up a different angle of it, because as you said, that was never on. It was never going to work. And
you know that defense for intentional wrecking by Ayrton Senna, I think that's what went through the mind.
Yeah. Just
you can see
trying to get something done that was never the right time to do it. I mean, I understand what Farback was trying to do there, but yeah, as you said, never the right time to do it.
No, that's the sort of last lap desperate attempt that you try and find and make the move done. It doesn't necessarily work. Traffic getting out of the way in the form of Senam Bird, who is 1 lap down at the moment, just comfortably lets everyone through. But the train right now, Chesters and Powell and Schiff, that's the one that goes through. And ultimately, Farback's just come in and said, that turn scared me, and he missed the braking point a little. So that would be his defense at the moment. Wide goes, trouble. Trouble. Did not get alert to that one. Was Philip Schiff. He gives a huge bump to the back to Brandon Powell, who tries to stick the nose in. I wonder how much rear damage is there now for Powell. In fact, he's just lost the rear end. He's going to go straight to cross and down, and out goes Philip Schiff. There with that one. I wondered if it was the damage there for Brandon Powell as the back end was stepping away. Disaster for Philip Schiff. Again, he can't ever finish a race.
And that one there, I mean, sure that first bit of contact he made into the back of Powell, but I don't think he really did too much wrong there. That was just a little mistake from Brandon Powell, and as you said, the suspension's already damaged. Oh, Tell you what, definitely couldn't have done anything wrong, anything more there. Good Philip Schiff. Didn't even see it coming.
No, it was just a case of the back of the... you can see he almost bottoms out trying to come up the hill. He's trying to put the power down early here as Powell and Schiff here. He's not going to see this one, and you're not going to see it until it's too late because, oh, hello, I'm here. And there goes the front left suspension as it caves in. And that is Philip Schiff once again deciding that Friday nights are probably not his night anymore at this moment in time. Battles, though, remaining out there on circuit as Powell has got himself back going still. He's okay at the moment. He's now trying to get through on Oberslack for places. Now you've got Young and Henkel fighting out just in front of them. So big four-car scrap going on right now. You've got Remy Garcia and Tomasz Kozstron there in the party as well. So it looks like everybody finding their own little moments out there on circuit. Gap at the front of the field, though, hasn't really extended out as we focus on Kozstron at the moment on the back of this one. It's 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, we normally see that when someone, fights through and takes the lead, we've seen that gap will just start to extend and almost blow out. But this race isn't playing in that way as Henkel threw on Cal Young. Nice little move there. Cal Young didn't fight that at all. He broke a little bit early to make sure he made the corner. But yeah, it's surprising that the gap hasn't blown out. I mean, it's great that it hasn't, staying around that 1.5 seconds. So Marco Sanfilippo still in striking range at the front. Great to see.
It absolutely is, and Marco knows that if he wants to win this race, he's got to stay there, but he has just dropped 0.5 second coming through that sector because he's had to get off of the power to deal with Robert Yandeyong in terms of lap traffic. So that's not ideal for Marco. That's why the gap's going to extend out to 1.9 seconds. I'm sure it would be a lot closer otherwise, so not ideal at all. But Tomasz Simon, he now just has to focus here on this one as we once more see a little bit of battling out there on track as this is Remy Garcia we see and Tomasz Kozstron. Kozstron trying to put as much effort in as he possibly can to chase down in what I would say is a mock-up Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that would be what that livery looks like. Another side-by-side moment there. And with how early Kozstron was up the inside, it almost was at the point that Garcia could have came back on Kozstron, but Kozstron through, gains a spot up into P10.
Not yet.
No,
he's got the both gone. That's net code into each other. They effectively merge front to rear. Both drivers then out as they go through the curve de Sol, and that's how quickly a race can turn to a nightmare. Virtual Racing School replay we're going to see right now. This is how it goes wrong. Now, the key here is Kozstron running wide through turn 3 and picking up a fantastic run was Remy Garcia. Neither of them do really anything wrong. Garcia's chasing, and effectively, both of them effectively merge together front to rear, and that's why you get that massive hit and that massive incident.
That was huge. That was a huge incident. And unfortunate for those guys because neither of them did anything wrong, but end up out of the race. Another casualty from this one, and already lost nearly 10 cars from this race. It's incredible the attrition rate in this one. Well, that means those guys that started at the back of the field or even started in the pits are slowly starting to gain spots and move themselves forward without having to do too much.
Exactly, the drivers that you focus on, you got the likes of Chris Cheese Brown, Matthew Johns, Eugenio Massa and Germano Schiavini. They're going to be absolutely loving this sort of race here today. They'll be picking up great iRating and safety rating from it. There is the man they call Cheese at the moment in the mock-up Red Bull. Started 22nd. Well, now he's up into P number 12. And I would say you'd be quite happy right now racing around in P12 on your own as Cal Young continues his scrap with Andreas Henkel.
Interesting, too, talking about driving around on your own. Danilo Sanfilippo always seems to find himself just in those positions where he doesn't have to do too much. He just laps around by himself, doesn't he? Last couple of weeks, we've seen him sitting in 3rd, 4th position just by himself with no one around.
It's a shame. I wish he had some friends, as he tries to bundle around because he's the sort of driver who'd love to go out there and see battle and really stick it up with Tamas Simon and Marco Sanfilippo. It's just the case that he's maybe just a couple tenths of a second off, and, you know, there goes the gap. So now Henkel going really narrow through the corner. Cal Young using a lot more of the circuit as he looks to try and attack. How close can he get as he hits the brakes and goes into the left? The answer is not close enough to go out there and make the move. And as he tries to continue on his merry way forward, it will be a case to be made if he can continue that level of attacking into the next stages. But the field now starting to extend itself out. We're on lap 13 of 38. And this is where drivers start to think about, okay, if they've got a little bit of damage, they should be thinking about that pit stop. They're probably going about as far here, Jay, today, as what are you thinking? Lap 25 maybe is the latest?
Yeah, I think around there probably would be the most. I mean, some will probably start coming in any time from now, but yeah, most will go as long as they can. Of course, running hard tyres as always. We just talk up the cheese, man. Around he goes. Oh,
Easy
Anthony
as that.
Cat in.
Yeah, so Anthony Cat makes the early decision to come down in and make that stop. That is going to be alert. That's Robert Yandeyong there, who is coming out of the pits as well. So Cat is in for the stop, and that is a very entertaining prospect at this moment, because he's going for the almighty undercut, and that's a bit of lap traffic for Marco Sanfilippo to be not too alert to at this stage. That was Germano Cervini there, he managed to get on through. But Marco Sanfilippo right now is driving effectively at this stage like Ayrton Senna did in 1994 here at this Interlagos circuit, trying to chase down Michael Schumacher.
The issue he's got is, one, he's running into lap traffic at the wrong spot, and two, Tamas Simon is starting to break away. It's now to 2.5 seconds, so Marco Sanfilippo starting to probably stress a little bit about that gap and how much it is extending out. So he'll be keeping an eye on that and hoping that the tables turn in regards to lap traffic and how that does play out, because Tamas Simon definitely had the better run in regards to lap traffic over Marco Sanfilippo.
Well, of course, he approaches the traffic first, so he gets to pick and choose when he goes and selects to get by it in terms of that. So that's worth keeping in mind, at least at this moment in time, how Tamas Simon is flying. And just look at his lap times, really. That will be the real indicator in terms of how Tamas Simon is driving. And the key is, over the course of the last, I would say, 7 to 8 laps, he has been in a bracket range of 0.3 of a second. His last lap was only a handful of hundredths behind his fastest lap set on lap 9 of this race.
Yeah, you look at the lap times and just right on cue, he's just on the fastest lap of the race at 11.2. But most of his laps in that last 10 have been 11.3 something, which is incredible. And yeah, just done his fastest lap of the race. And Marco Sanfilippo 0.4 slower on that lap. But this little battle here between Young and Henkel is still going strong, and it's great to see. Cal Young's probably quicker, but you just can't get the run at the right time to be able to get a move done.
No, it definitely looks that way for Cal Young. He'll be very much focusing. I wonder if he can get a SimSpeed livery at some point in time. I know that the graphics are available on the iRacing.com paint shop, so if you do want to get that, I'm sure that someone like Jay would definitely not mind at all at this moment in time. So Cal Young looking to charge and attack at this moment into the next left here at the Ski de Lago as he tries to go through. Slightly missed apex there from Henkel, but it's okay. You can attack off of the exit here and go through, but you're not really under that much duress in the middle sector unless you are trying to be the bravest man in all of Sao Paulo.
Yeah, exactly right. You just looking at the way Cal Young's driving too, it looks like he's not driving it as someone just off on the side there. That was Sakura on 21st position. He's 6 laps down, so he's a long way off the pace, just out there gaining some safety rating now. That probably will hurt that run. But Cal Young looks like he's not driving it at 102% that we would see the likes of Tamas Simon driving it at, which says that he's still not 100% comfortable with the car. He's just, not quite able to push it as much as he would like to, whether that's down to setup or being comfortable and trusting the car's behaviour. But it just means that he's not able to get those runs as we were talking about before. Henkel just sitting there and able to hold his own.
And this is one of the things as well with a series like this. It's very difficult to trust in this sort of car and put all the time in. Of course, iRacing's point system effectively limits everyone to 4 races per week. So what are you doing? You're doing hot laps mainly around the circuit, or trying to practice a couple of race runs maybe on your own or in a practice server. And a lot of drivers will be trying a lot of different machines out as well when it comes to the racing that they do. So it might even be a case of you don't have all the faculties out there. You know, these people have day jobs, for example, and they're not going to get all the time in the world. And something like this would be the sort of thing that if you had a virtual racing school, for example, relevant plug right now, we do them here at SimSpeed TV. If you had something like VRS, someone like Matt Backham, for example, is a massive proponent of practicing. I remember a time where he put something close to 80 hours worth of practice for 5 laps of a Nürburgring race. So effectively what you're seeing right now is the case of drivers who need to just maybe get a little bit more time in the car, get settled because it's a relatively new car, and then once they have that time, maybe a season from now, 2 seasons from now, Jay, you could be seeing them really rocketing up and finding that next echelon of pace.
100% right, and fingers crossed we see this series continue to grow. It's very, very niche group of drivers at the moment. Oh no, I've just seen something on the timing screen. No. Oh, I was about to have a minor heart attack thinking that we've seen an incident. Well, we have seen them stopping, but for a different reason.
Yeah, it is the pit stop cycle. So Fabien Vallet and Luke Albins then making their stops. It's a very tough lane to get down on, as well as they get themselves through this very tough pit exit through 1, 2, and 3. And there is Matthew Johns looking to try and make sure that he gets his stop nicely done, along with the cheese man, Chris Cheese Brown. So they make their stops at the moment. Someone who hasn't yet, one Mr. Tamas Simon. 4.3 seconds now, the margin over Marco Sanfilippo, and that last lap, 1.1 seconds quicker.
Incredible time. He's not far off doing a 1 minute 10 lap time. Unbelievably fast pace that he's got at the moment. So he's flying along. Obviously that means that there's probably low fuel in the car. And of course, still out there on the hard tyres means that those tyres are going to last. But he will take another set just to make sure that he can bring it home. Going to push on for another lap. We'll see what he does this time.
Yeah, exactly, we will. And as he crosses, it's an 11.2. Marco Sanfilippo responds with his own 11.2. So he's not giving up yet. It's Marco, but it's at just that range where it's just starting to fade at this moment in time, and that can be very much a case of it hurts, and I really wish it didn't around this sort of circuit. But there are still those great battles that are going on. We are in the middle of a pit stop cycle. Some have come in, some haven't gone in. But what we do know is that at least at this point, we've probably got about 19 runners remaining here, maybe 20 still in this race.
Just seen something that you're not going to be too happy with? Oh, no. I've been
a pit stop.
Pulled again. It's a pit stop for Danilo Sanfilippo. I was like, oh no, he's spun. My timing screen's confusing me and tricking me today. I'm not liking it. I need to fix that.
It's a very difficult one sometimes to work out where everybody is, but Danilo Sanfilippo then pits from lap 22, and he's coming out right behind Jacob Oberslack and Chris Cheese Brown, and that will be just behind the battle between Cal Young and Andreas Henkel. That gap starting just to extend a little bit. Young is down 2 places from where started 7th, he's up currently in 5th, so technically he's up 2 places from where he started, but of course one of those will effectively bring itself back into position. But the key now is that they've gone as long as they possibly can, effectively, minus, a couple, as a lot of drivers work out where they need to be. And now their focus is get as long as they can. A bit of side-by-side as Fabien Vallet gets the move done on Luke Albins.
And they come out of the pits almost side-by-side as well anyway, didn't they? So it's great to see that those two are continuing their fight.
A nice chrome machine then.
Yeah, 3rd and 4th out of the guys that are pitted.
Yeah, so they're doing a good job at the moment there. Very nice move being done and concocted by both of them. Now, the key is, where is Anthony Cat in comparison to everyone? Remember, he pitted a little bit earlier to everybody else out there, and in terms of where Danilo Sanfilippo is, that's 13 seconds. So I would say try and stay ahead of James Chesters. Chester's been running 13.1s over the course of things. Anthony Cat did a 12.4 that last time by, has been in and around the 12s and 13s as race leader dives down onto the lane. Tamas Simon, lap 24, making that stop. End of 23, start of 24. That's pretty much right in the wheelhouse, isn't it, Jay?
Yeah, what'd you say, as far as 25, so you were pretty right. Pretty much on it. 7.6 second stop, about the same as what we've seen almost everyone do. 7.6 second stop for Marco Sanfilippo. Identical pit stop time, identical pit lane time for those two. And interesting that they've come out still maintaining the gap to James Chesters. Haven't even lost that spot to Chesters, who is yet to pit.
Well, that's the difference. They're doing 1:12s at the moment, or James Chesters is doing 1 minute 12s. You look at the sort of lap times they've been doing, it's been 11s and 10s we've been looking at from Marco Sanfilippo and co at this stage. It's an incredible margin that we are seeing out there, as actually Oberslack has just dropped the place now to Danilo Sanfilippo. No surprises into one. A move that had to be done out there on circuit for Danilo, because of course Jacob Oberslack is yet to come in and make his stop.
Yeah, yet to pit, but that doesn't mean that he won't be pitting. He'll probably come in within the next 2 or 3 laps. Now, remember at the start of the race we said that we were waiting for someone to come onto the grid and was going to miss the grid start. That was Davini. He's up into 12th from a pit lane start. That's not correct, showing him as currently 26. He's definitely in 12th.
He definitely is at this moment in time, so that will be a correction at this point in time. And Sakura almost running into the back of him, trying to work out his way into the lane, and he gets very nicely overtaken. And that's very early and very safe to make sure that you don't speed. Decide to hit the pit lane limiter about 300 metres before the pit line.
Yeah, the only issue with that is that when you've got cars coming in behind you, can scare them a little bit. Very, very good pit stop for Cal Young, about a second quicker than most of the other drivers out there. He does come out just behind Anthony Cat. Those two will hopefully resume battle once again. James Chester's still yet to pit. Andreas Henkel still yet to pit. Brandon Powell still yet to pit. And Sinan Bird still yet to make his stop.
Sinan Bird, of course, 2 laps down at this moment in time, just trying to get to the end. Of course, a lot of different goals out there for drivers. Now, James Chester's here in the 10, should be coming down onto the lane this time by here. Lap 25 out of 38 is going to stay out a little bit longer. So, obviously, the pit window is just a little bit longer out there for those drivers. Andreas Henkel has the ability to go out there and continue on as well, but it's going to be worth noting that Cal Young's gap to Anthony Cat is about, I would say, 4 or 5 seconds at this point by eye. So it might actually be quite close here for James Chesters.
Yeah, Chesters will probably slot in just in between, I would guess. He really needs to push on this in-lap, which we're thinking it's an in-lap. Saying that not that long ago, he did his fastest lap of the race, did Chesters, as a 12.1. But interesting that of our drivers, only 3 drivers have been able to do an 11-second race lap. That being Tamas Simon and the Sanfilippos. But Danilo Sanfilippo, his fastest lap is nowhere near as fast as the other two. The other two very, very low 11s. And Danilo only just into the 11s, an 11.9.
Yeah, it tells you all you need to know about where you need to find the pace. This is a very tough one. Andreas Henkel then is pitting in, he says, and on cue he does. He will dive down into the pits. There was nobody around him, so there was no need for him to use the in-game, I would say, bounded commands to other people in the server to say, I'm pitting in right now, but he did so nevertheless. He's pitting in. He'll be joined by Brandon Powell, looking to come in and pit. Chester's staying out an awfully long time, well, he was, until he actually just came in this time by. And he'll be looking to get himself out and away again. Anthony Cat, look at where he is right now. He is stuck behind traffic. And guess what? James Chester has just jumped Anthony Cat, who pitted a bit too early.
Yep. And probably those 2 cars of lap traffic for Anthony Cat was enough to make the difference. Wasn't a huge amount of time.
That's Eugenia Massa versus Chris Cheese Brown, and that is for position here. The battle for 13th out there on circuit.
Yeah, so these guys pitted a few laps ago as well, so the tyres will be back up to temperature. But Massa, of course, no qualifying time. He's up quite a few spots. What's he up? 12 spots? 13 spots. So a very good drive. Incredible
drive at this stage from Eugenio Massa. And I'm sure the Italian will want to make sure he can convert that into a finish here today. It's not a million of miles away from Matthew Johns just in front either, so he's got work to do. Now, the gap between Cat and Chester's is 1.2 seconds at the moment, which is a pretty important gap, all things considered, with this sort of run that's going on. It is also worth noting, to keep in mind, that Jacob Oberslack has massively jumped Brandon Powell in the stop as well. Powell is down in 9th position right now, and actually is probably next driver in range to be put a lap down. There are only 9 drivers so far on the leading lap, with, I would say, 11 laps to go, soon to be 10.
Yep, there's Brandon Powell, and when I was about to say we'll get it when the camera changes, but I went a little bit too late. There we go. So there's Thomas Simon. So he's what, about 7.5 seconds back from Brandon Powell, and lap time wise is around about a second a lap quicker, so Powell's going to really struggle to stay on the lead lap. Hello, Thomas Simon just got held up a little bit there with some lap traffic. Interesting though, have a look at his lap time last lap by, almost his fastest lap of the race, does another 11th lap.
Incredible how consistent Tamas Simon can be. There's only one time I have seen a driver be as consistent, and it was in the Spa 24-hour race on iRacing, where I believe Mitchell de Jong put 7 consecutive laps within half a tenth of a second of each other, which was incredible at the time. Cat still trying to work hard to chase down Chester's, and in fact he has done that job. He's got himself into range. Now he's got to do what he did in the opening stint, and that is make the overtake.
Yeah, getting there's one thing, but actually passing is another, and the issue that they're going to have very, very quickly is lap traffic. Because there is a big field and only one split and not 2 splits, it does amplify the pace difference between the front and rear of the field. So at this point of the race, when the field is spread, you're going to see the difference in pace very, very easily out on circuit. But good job for the lap traffic so far to make sure they're out of the way. I think this could be side by side at the start of turn 1. No, Anthony Cat not quite close enough.
Not yet anyway, so Anthony Cat just has to be patient here. He knows he's got time, he's got some laps to make sure he can get things done. He's got 8 of them, or 9 of them right now, to make sure he can gain that overtake, as he just has to stay patient here through the right of the Senna S, and now the left of the Curva de Sol. It's not going to help, though, the fact that Radek Sikora is just in front in the Jaguar, I would say, mock machine moving forward. So they managed to get around Sikora, who's had about 4 spins today in the early stages, really struggled to get up to speed and get the tyres up to temperature. But Cat very much wants that P4. He's got the number 5 on his vehicle, which indicates that he should be, by iRating average, a little bit better and should be ahead of someone with the 10 like James Chester.
The one thing around that, though, is Anthony Cat is in his iRating position, so that is usually your aim, is to finish ahead of your iRating number. So he's in 5th, so if he doesn't gain this spot, it's not a horrible night out for him.
I mean, I'm sure golfers think that half of the course is still a very good score. So at this moment in time, I'm sure he'll definitely want to try and make that overtake a reality, but that is the reality that he is facing. He is struggling to get to that position where it can be his overtake. He's just in that range, and he actually has a huge lockup going through turn 1, which will not be doing those hard compound tyres any good. And a little bit of slipstream on the front stretch there of Remy Garcia, who is back out there and racing again, and that's not going to be ideal in the slightest. Now there is Powell in the 14 and Oberslack a long way in front, but look behind where you've seen chasing Tamas Simon, just absolutely knocking off one lap after another, because that is a 1:10.9, and that is why Tamas Simon will struggle to be beaten in races like these.
What a lap time that is. A 10.9, and in response, Marco Sanfilippo, a 10.9. Those two at the front, absolutely matching lap times. And we're saying that there are only a couple of drivers that have gone into the 11s. Well, they're into the 10s now, and no one is even anywhere close to getting to that. So Danilo Sanfilippo has improved on his fastest lap at 11.8. Everyone else has done 12s, 13s, or 14s as their fastest lap.
Here comes the move. Anthony Catt searching for the outside against James Chesters, who is having absolutely none of it, but that's a mistake. That's a huge mistake going through turn 2. Couldn't get anything down in the rear tyres, and suddenly Anthony Catt had to check up, and that might have just saved James Chesters for this lap at least, because now you've got to be alert here. Catt's going to have another great run coming out of 5 at Desquita de Lago, up the hill to Ferradura, the horseshoe corner at 6. He'll be stuck on the outside track. He'll have the marbles to deal with as well. If he can keep the foot down, he's got the outside again here through upper 8 at the Laranjina, and then through this fantastic Mahulo corner the Pinarino there down at 10. He's not going to be able to get there just now. So once more, the number 5 of Anthony Catt is stuck waiting. That was as golden as a goose gets around here.
Yep. He'll be ruining that he didn't get it done when he was that close. And is he too close here to be able to get the run? I think he might have been too close under the rear wing at power down. And now he might not be able to get the run back. It's going to be close, but I think he's going to be a little bit too far back to get a run and move into turn 1. Forced to go the long way again. Not able to get through, but that's another mistake for James Chesters.
It's showing. It's really showing right now how much Anthony Catt is just putting the car in the right places, and he is reaping forced error after forced error out of 1, Mr. James Chesters. He's got to do the hard work now, which is around the outside of Desquita de Lago. Thank you very much, Anthony Catt. That is why he is an open wheel specialist.
Great move from Anthony Catt into P4 now. That was a brilliant move, and I'll tell you what, he set that up probably 3 laps earlier and just sat there and watched and worked out where he could potentially get a move done. Forced an error out of Chesters' lap previous. I think James Chesters was alert to the fact that he made that mistake the lap earlier and knew that he couldn't afford to make the mistake again, was a little bit more ginger on the throttle, and that meant that Anthony Catt could capitalise. Great move, and that is how you plan an overtake in a tough car to make passes in.
Yeah, definitely looks like that, at least at this stage. And we have got another retirement. Radek Sakura has pulled it off into the pits then, so his day is all but done at this moment in time. So one more retirement means one more for everyone to chase down. Tamas Simon in control at the front of the field. Lap 34. He will go on to lap 35 of 38. 4 laps to go here at this wonderful Interlagos circuit, and really right now you can say he's just hot lapping for fun at this moment in time, weaving his way very calmly and serenely through the traffic. He's got Eugenio Massa there just in front that he makes his way through. Nice and easy he will be going to the inside, just naturally back to the racing line, and it's just a case of he can just hit lines and hit areas of the track where other drivers just dare not go, because he's just got that much control over such an unruly mechanical beast.
He's just got confidence in the car, doesn't he? He's got some really good confidence, and the championship fight between he and Marco Sanfilippo is going to come right down to the wire now, because this response for Tamas Simon after a couple of weeks of Marco dominance shows that he's not going to give this championship up without a really big fight. And Temef Simon now with a 10-second margin at the front shows that,
Hello.
hey, I'm here, I'm ready to go.
Matthew Johns has gone for a very exploratory moment and continuing to go for that exploratory moment. I think he very nearly Kimi Räikkönen'd it in the rain. So all on his own, going through Mahulo here, this very flowing down the hill left, looking for his braking marker. He outbrakes himself there. You can see Lockley inside front. And then it's just a case of where can I find the most consistent place to get back out there. No confidence at all there for Matthew Johns, putting the power down on the grass.
I mean, I'm not surprised that he's got no confidence with this stick of the grass. A lot of people don't have confidence with it on the asphalt, so the grass is quite slippery in iRacing at the best of times. So, yeah, he's got it going again back in the right direction. I don't think he might have lost one spot out of that as well, so got back to 14th position. This battle between Chesters and Cat, I don't know if it's over. I think James Chesters is just trying to regroup and compose himself before he has one last crack. Maybe with one to go, maybe next lap. If he can't get it done next lap, then he decides that he'll just stay behind. But he's definitely trying to work out where he can get this move back through.
He's there, but he's not there. I think it's the right way to say it. It's 0.4 of a second the gap, so he's definitely there. He's definitely putting pressure down on one Mr. Anthony Cat. And of course, every sim racing commentator, or any commentator that wants to get up there and feel like they're getting up there, use the term pressure so very much. But in this sort of scenario, this doesn't feel like there is that much tension in terms of this battle. It's a case of Chesters is there, but because Anthony Cat's already made the move, you still feel like the confidence is with Cat in comparison to the MXS car.
Yeah, I think it's definitely in favour of Anthony Cat, just based on that. But as you say, Chesters is there trying to apply pressure, but because that's a weird spot for a car to
bird.
be. Yep, bird off the circuit.
That's all on his own again. Just the vintage centre spin coming through that section. Outdoes himself in the grass. Round you go. So 2 to go. Chester's still not quite there.
No, he's just not able to get the run onto the front straight, is he? He's just not quite able to get the momentum that he wants. I mean, in saying that, he's got it this time, but he's just not quite close enough at the right spot at the right time to be able to do anything with it. He's getting the momentum, but he's getting it too late or in the wrong spot. So he's got to try and work out where he can get it done. I don't think he's going to be able to get a move done. He will try, but it's going to be a tough ask for him as we're on the last lap for our leader, Temef Simon.
We certainly are. Simon driving brilliantly, and I think it's Anthony Cat just doing everything he needs to right now in this one. And another fastest lap from Tamas Simon on lap 37. 110.926 puts it the best possible at this stage. In terms of Cat versus Chesters, it's a case of when James Chesters finds an increase in time, well, so does one Mr. Anthony Cat, as now it's Jacob Oberslack who will be next to be lapped at this stage. As going down through the left-hand bend, they come along once again, searching for that run. The big left junction corner comes up next. It has been plain sailing. A poor start once again. It's the only fault of his game, Tamas Simon, but such was his speed, such was his ability to go out there and make something happen. He has just cakewalked one. Tamas Simon comes to the line and dominates here at Interlagos. It was only ever going to be him in terms of the way that is a win. Marco Sanfilippo will take second here. Gave a good account of himself here today, but knew that he was second best the moment qualifying had finished. And then Danilo Sanfilippo will be a very waylaid and distant third position. He'll be about 38 seconds off of your race leader coming to the line.
Incredible, the gap first to third in a race that, I mean, it's a decent length, but it's not the longest race we're going to see. But to have basically a second a lap over third place in a highly competitive field, especially in the top, is incredible. Cat's going to hold on for fourth. He'll be happy with that. And James Chesters can't be disappointed with the P5. I mean, he sure lost that spot to Anthony Cat at the end, but P5 on your car 10, that's a pretty decent result.
Yeah, a lot of pretty decent results, and I think those who finished on the lead lap will feel they had a really decent result as well. Jacob Oberschlack is just about, I believe, going to be able to get that as well. 1 minute, 12 seconds back. It's not often that you say that, but nice of Tamas Simon just to allow Jacob Oberschlack to finish on the leading lap there. So a very, very good and solid result from a lot of drivers out there. A few others not maybe as such. So confirmation of result then, 45 minutes, 42 seconds. Tamas Simon just gave everybody a lesson today on how you go and manufacture a race here at Interlagos. He wins by 9.9 over Marco Sanfilippo, and you could say for Tamas Simon, he had a 9.9 style drive today. Danilo Sanfilippo finishes in third with Anthony Cat there in fourth place. James Chesters finishing off in fifth, and Andreas Henkel having a really good run today. He gained 7 places, 13th up to 6th overall. Cal Young finishes where he starts in 7th. Last finish on the leading lap, of course, Jacob Oberschlack. And then in 9th position, Brandon Powell, and arguably one of your biggest movers in the field, Fabian Valet, moving up from 21st to 10th. That is 11 places gained. A lot of these drivers are lap down, gained a lot due to the retirements of others. Luke Albin's there finishing in 11th, with Chris Cheese Brown up 10 places of his own in 12th. Eugenio Massa will be credited as the biggest mover in the field. He gained 13 places from dead last, 26th overall, as Matthew Johns finishes in 14th. 2 laps down also were Germano Savini and Eric J-Jock. And then you're starting to hit drivers who had a few more struggles. Remy Garcia, 4 laps down. Robert Yandiyong, 4 laps down. Senan Bird was 5 laps off of the pace. And then you hit the retirements from 20 on back. Radek Sikora effectively was here, there, and everywhere with dramas. And then you had what happened with Tomasz Kozdron. That was a very, very nasty accident that he had with Garcia, and ultimately one that caused his retirement out there from the race. Philip Schiff didn't find himself with too much fun today, nor did Michael Farbach. Those two coming together, Farbach missing the brakes did the Austrian. Rashad Craig found himself in troubles, along with Omar Bahar after contact with Danilo Sanfilippo, and Gary Larson very early on in the race, doing exactly what Omar Bahar managed to do. But Imola will be the place we go to next time out here with the iRacing Dallara Formula IR series. This is a wonderful, wonderful track. It's got all the components of a great racer's circuit. And when you've got pace and you've got ability, you've got as much as you have here, it's probably going to be one of those tracks which is going to feel very similar, Jay, to what we've seen today here at Interlagos.
100% should be fantastic racing at Imola. Always provides some great racing in open wheelers. It's a perfect combination. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Bring on Imola.
The only place to find that perfect combination is with us here at SimSpeed TV. If you haven't had the chance already here on YouTube or on Facebook Live, you can like, you can share, you can comment, you can subscribe for more amazing action brought to you by us here at SimSpeed TV, because in just under an hour from now, we're heading over to Road America. We're taking a chartered flight up from Latin America on top, and then we are going to be seeing some brilliant racing action. But a massive thanks has to go, of course, to the Virtual Racing School, who has sponsored the replays for us here today. And Jay Kennedy pulling double duties on cameras and commentary, and myself, Jake Sperry. Tamas Simon back where he rightfully belongs, some would say, up at the very top. He was a cut above everybody else, and my goodness, are we in for a championship showdown. It's only round 7, and we're seeing time and again those points really stacking up and meaning something. Will they continue to do so? Well, we'll find out next week. We'll see you 1 week from now when it comes to Imola, but we'll see you in an hour for VRS GT.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top
Oh my
here.
god! Oh, big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?